Oh.
What's going on, guys? We are back with another video. I'm gonna keep the intro nice and sweet. It's me, we got Hayes with, and we are doing a little bit of multi-species fishing today. I've done a lot of videos that are like real specific on weed walleyes or this or that. Today's just a good old day of fish catching. I am excited. It's our first kind of nice day out. It's actually kind of gloomy out, but it's not super cold, and it wasn't super cold last night, which should fire these fish up. What do you think? Are they gonna bite?
I think they're gonna bite, and I think it's gonna be froggy. Stay tuned.
Hopefully, because it's been a lot of grinder fishing, so we're gonna kind of talk about basically how we're finding these fish, where we're catching them, and the two presentations we're using, and how it's so simple to come out here in the spring, kind of no matter what lake you live on or have a place close to where you're fishing all the time, get on fish and set the hook a ton of times. Stay tuned. Fish on! I don't know if this is a bass or a walleye. It's feeling kind of bassy. No, it is a walleye. Walleye number one of the day on the jerk minnow junior. Snapping it around up here on the sand. I can just full flip this one. Here's your nice feeder variety. There we go. Number one. Jerk minnow stuck to his face. Good to see him eating that. Today should be a good day of fishing. The turnaround day. Lots of tough fishing. 50-degree night last night. Let's hope they're chewing today. We'll see. Fish on! I think we got a nice walleye on here. Is it a bass? I think it's a bass. I think it's a bass. That is a jumping walleye.
You know,
It's a nice brown bass. Not a big one. But when you get on fish up here in the sand, snapping something like a jerk minnow around catches absolutely everything. Come here, buddy. There we go. Nice brown bass on the jerk minnow. 1/4 ounce. Just popping it around kind of aggressively. And Hayes has the jig and minnow on, and that has not got bit yet, so I think if I set the hook one more time, we're all going to be throwing the jerk minnow, something a little more aggressive. Holy cow, this guy. Got another one. Nice little Walter, little eater walleye. Getting outfished by the live bait, little walleye.
Yeah, look at that, right in the tip of the mouth, easy out, and I'm out, away he goes, on to the next one.
Little eater walleye here. Oh, dude, we got a jumping walleye. Little eater there up in the rocks. Here with northern Wisconsin fish fry fish. Well, we're letting them go today. Alright guys, so if you're coming out here in the spring, this presentation is super easy, whether you're kind of going for walleye, smallmouth, kind of whatever it is. And the two things I like to have with me is one, a 1/4 ounce jig with some plastics. This is going to be great for fishing depths from really 4 out to like 12, 15 feet of water. The sweet spot for us today is that 5 to 8 foot range. And I always like to have a live bait option with as well. And this is just an 1/8 ounce Google Eye tungsten jig. I'll go ahead and link all this stuff down in the description that we're using. And the other one's that 1/4 ounce Google Eye, and one of my favorite multi-species plastic, catches a ton of everything. This is the Kalen's Jerk Minnow Junior, my favorite color. I'll go ahead and link that down below. And the two rods I like to fish these on, the snap jig rod, this is the Elliott rod 6.9 medium with the Pissy Fun Carbon X 2000. A little bigger reel, a little more line pickup. And my ultra finesse favorite kind of jig and minnow rod for this real light stuff. This is the 7-foot light fast Elliott rods, and I got this paired with just a 1000 size. This is more your short range pitching rod. like Hayes is doing most of the day, just pitching out real close to the target. And this one's used for generally covering a little bit more water, and that's why it's a little bit beefier, bigger size reel on there. So between these two combos, these two deals, you guys are gonna catch fish all spring long really, and you can run this pattern. This is exactly what we're using today. And all we're doing, tip and minnow wise, we're using some fatheads and then some smaller suckers too. So super simple, super easy to fish. The jig season up in the shallows, and this is what's getting it done for us. Oh, he's hooked up. He's hooked up. What we got, walleye? Nice Walter. Oh yeah, nice walleye. Nice walleye. I keep breaking off repetitively. I've hooked a muskie, it broke off on a pike, and I just lost another fish. Now Hayes has a nice Walter on. Not a big one, but your cookie cutter Wisconsin eater here. On the old jig and a minnow. This is a straight up multi-species beat down today. There you go. This little eater there.
There's a fish, a nice post spawn male. I've never had anybody.
Fish on! I think we got the smallmouth variety here. Too much shaking for a walleye. And it is a bass. But we'll take it. Just side image a nice pod right in this little rock finger. Hayes should be hooking up at any time probably. And he's got one. When you find him on side of him, smallmouth or walleye?
A little girth to it, whatever it is.
I guess a walleye, probably.
I don't know. It's
Smallie.
Sharp head shake.
Now it's staying down a little more. It is a little smallmouth. Vast attack. Hopefully they're not all bass. Hooked up, hooked up. Nice Waldo. That's what we're after. Hayes is all about these bass. But Surly, you are literally laying in the net. Come on, little boy. We got a nice walleye on. Nice walleye, Surly. Too cool this time of year when you get both these fish sitting in the same spots. I mean, I'm not opposed to catching smallmouth, but when you can catch walleyes and smallmouth and quality of both in the same spots, that is absolutely the deal. Hayes got this one on just a little 1/8 ounce Google Eye jig. Beauty of a fish. All right guys, so this time of year it's super simple as far as getting on fish, right? Basically what we're looking for is large flats with some kind of cover on there. Most of the time it's rock. Rock's gonna be almost your best bet in a lot of these lakes for good smallmouth and walleyes early on up on these flats. So what we're doing is we're kind of driving around in like this 10, 12 foot zone, and we're scanning up onto this stuff, scanning into that 5, 8 foot stuff. And the depths might vary depending on kind of what lake you're on. You know, the sweet spot might be 3 on your lake, the sweet spot might be 12 on your lake. But basically we're getting on these larger flats and we're looking for this kind of stuff. Now, what most of the time you want to see, there's 2 different ways to do this. Number one, you can just kind of pick out these rock fingers or bigger pockets of rock, and they're gonna look something like this right here. This is exactly what you're looking for, this screenshot. And you know, this is a good indicator. And on some lakes, these fish will just pack right into the rock and you won't really see them. So generally what you'll do is you'll drop a waypoint on that, you'll come back, spot lock, make some key casts to that spot, and then tell if there's fish there or not. The other thing you can do is obviously looking for fish. On a lot of lakes that have these rock fingers plus sand or weeds on the outside of those, the fish will look just like this. This is a perfect screenshot right here. You can see this rock finger comes out, and right at the tip of this rock finger you've got this beautiful stack of fish. Probably some smallmouth, probably some walleyes, but this is exactly what we're looking for right here. So, you know, get on these bigger flats and start driving around with that side imaging on, and generally you're looking for shoreline flats, but if that flat is big enough out in the middle of the lake, it can hold fish as well too. Generally that shoreline water just warms up a little more. Generally that's where the smallmouth and walleyes are spawned. The smallmouth are about to spawn in a couple weeks, so walleye spawned about a week ago, so you kind of got this intermix where these fish are meeting right in the middle in this little perfect sweet spot just off the side of these big flats. So keep that in mind. Find this stuff on your graphs and you guys are going to be around a pile of fish all spring. Fish on! Nice walleye. Nice walleye here. Pitching at the rocks. Catching a little bit of everything. Walleye, smallmouth. Really, they're all good. And realistically, it is probably one of the least technical times of the year as far as just going out and setting the hook. You know, if you do know how to reach side imaging, that gives you a huge advantage, number one. But just a lot of these big flats and points that run offshore is exactly what you're looking for. And you know, we've kind of talked about basically how you can find a lot of these spots and see fish. And it's really that simple. Cut and paste that pattern anywhere, everywhere you go in the spring, and you're catching fish. Well, that's gonna wrap up this quick video. We've only spent probably a couple hours out here, and we're gonna get off and go film another thing on a different lake. But I appreciate you guys watching. Was it a good time, Hayes?
It was a great time, and it was especially froggy.
It was froggy out. Very froggy looking weather. And the next, I'm not sure when this video is gonna go up, but we're kind of coming out of the big cold spell here in northern Wisconsin across the Midwest. Water temps are gonna warm. These fish have been relatively lethargic for the past week, and it's game on. I can feel my heart beating faster today, and I'm very excited to be fishing on a day that's actually nice and the fish are biting. So we're off to the next thing. Thank you guys for watching. If you're not yet, please subscribe and stay tuned for more content.